Hello, I'm Sabne Raznik, and this is the channel on YouTube where I do what I call mini readings, which is usually just one poem. Sometimes my work, sometimes other people's, whatever strikes my fancy. I haven't been on here for a little bit because I've been really busy. I've got a new book coming out in September called Renaissance, which is my visual art. Renaissance Visual Art 2005 to 2019, and that's basically what's in it. There's the Salome series, which you can see on this channel. There's the Wildfire series, which I think I also have on this channel. And there's my digital works and my acrylic works and a few other things that I don't think I have released very widely. That all in that book. And also there's a deck of cards called the Renaissance deck. Positivity cards for an uplifting day, and those are based on the digital works that are in the book, and they have quotes on one side that help you to you can draw one every day to help you to enjoy the simple things in life, the little things, and just look at things a different way. They're great if you have chronic illness, chronic pain, battle with depression, or maybe you just want to start your day with a positive thought. That's what the cards are for. And the book and the cards are going to be released pretty much the same time, the same day if I can manage it, because they're meant to be companion pieces, really. But you do have to buy them separately. The cards will be available on my Etsy, Sabne Raznik Art Shop. And the book will be available through Amazon. So I'm excited about that. And I've also I got some new bookshelves, so I've been unpacking more of my books. Yay! And that's what the mess is on the counter you see behind me is, as I unpack them out of the box, of course, I clean them and stack them and organize them prior to putting them in the bookshelf here. That was me. Where's the good girl? That was me. That's my Ada. She's my service dog. That was me. I knocked on the bookshelves. I did that. Oops. It's a good girl. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Anyway, the poem I'm going to read for you today is not one of mine. It is by a poet. Get my mouth working here. It is from a poet called Fatiha Morchid. She's a Moroccan poet, and I found this poem on poetryinternational.org, which is one of my favorite poetry websites because literally poems from all over the world. I'd set up a goal that I was going to read every poem on the website, and it's been years and I haven't yet. In fact, they've redesigned the website and everything since then, and of course they're adding new poets all the time, so I don't think I'll ever get them all read. But I just, people who follow me and my work, they know that I'm a big fan of world poetry, a big fan of, I don't believe in boundaries, I call myself a supranational poet because I don't believe in boundaries. So, and especially when it comes to art, you can't put a boundary on art, right? And I believe that I do a lot of work with, especially here recently, with Appalachian poets and giving them more outlets, especially the Appalachian avant-garde and experimental writing and art, because they especially are underrepresented, even more so than the less experimental Appalachian poets. But they have outlets, they have an audience, especially if they write in what I call apple trad, which is the traditional Appalachian poetry. But those who are more experimental don't really. So I've been working a lot with that, with my magazine Avant Appalachia. Well, it's an easy, and also I'm part of a collective, I guess is the word you would use, a collective called North-South Appalachia, which is supposed to bring together, not supposed to, see, I don't have my words today, bear with me, it brings together the whole region of Appalachia, because it's like 7 or 8 states big, from New York all the way down to Alabama, I think. So what our goal is, we have several different journals have gotten together on this. The Watershed Journal, which is a regionally Pennsylvania magazine, so northern Appalachia. Then we have Avant Appalachia, which is me, and Dave Sachs, both based in Pike County, Kentucky. But of course, the work that we showcase is worldwide, with a little bit of a focus on the Appalachian, but we regularly feature work from other countries. I was real proud of our last EZ because it was 7 countries represented and 7 states within the U.S. So I was really proud about that. And then we are also working in conjunction with, see, my words, T. Byron Kelly, Studio Appalachia. I knew if I said it, it would come out. And you notice my change in pronunciation of the word Appalachia. There's a whole big debate about that. Some people are really up in arms. If you say Appalachia or Appalachia, they will, as the shirts say, throw in Appalachia. But my philosophy, I grew up saying Appalachia, and I live in Appalachia. Raised in Appalachia since I was like a year old. No, down, be quiet. Mommy's on the video. And what I have found in my research is that it depends on your family's heritage. If you have mostly French descent, you will say Appalachia. If you have a lot of native descent, which we do in my family, I mean, I have a lot of European too, mostly Irish and Scottish. A little bit of everything though, some English and German thrown in there too. But if you have a lot of Native American descent, you tend to say Appalachia, like I do. If you are mostly European descent, you will say Appalachia. And in the typical fashion of people of European descent, they don't mean to be. I think most of them are well-meaning, but sometimes they do have, not sometimes, a lot of times, they have a tendency to be bullies. And so that's where the shirts came from. If you say Appalachia the wrong way, I'll throw an Appalachia. I hate that whole debate. I'm like, come on, y'all. Because if you really do your research, then you'll get down and find out that the original name for Appalachia, where it came from, was from the Appalachian Native American tribe. It's spelled just like Appalachia, but it's pronounced Appalachia. Okay? They are now extinct. They no longer exist at all. Not even one of them, which is really sad. But I did do some, and the language is extinct too. But they do happen to know. I don't know how they know. I didn't dig that far down into it. But they do happen to know that in their language, Appalachia is pronounced Appalachia. So technically, if we're going to get really technical about pronouncing Appalachia correctly, then we would all have to say Appalachia, because that's what it would be. That's what it originally was whenever the Appalachian Native tribe lived here. So I think as far as everybody getting all up in arms and how to pronounce Appalachia, that's just a big, it's silly. It's silly. It's such a huge region, and there are so many different peoples here of all different descents, Middle Eastern, and I'm sure by now most people have heard of the Melungeons. It was everybody in Appalachia knew about the Melungeons, of course, but people outside them didn't. But now, pretty much everybody knows about the Melungeons. Okay, so Middle Eastern descent, you have African American descent, a lot of African American descent, more than people think. When you look at the census stats, trust me, it's more prevalent than it seems, okay? Because there were slaves here too, once upon a time. I have to admit that the people who founded the town I live in which is my hometown. Okay, they're my I'm my direct ancestors by adoption. Through that family, I'm in that line directly through adoption. They had slaves on the plantation that this town used to be on, and some of them are buried in unmarked graves at the top of the historic town cemetery, and they have found those graves. So, you know, I mean, that's in my history too. I always say, I don't claim to be of any particular race. Whenever they ask you what your race is on those silly forums, and you know, when I was growing up, I clicked Caucasian because that's what the teachers told me to click, and I didn't know anything about it. Right? It's like, I don't even know what that means. Okay, if that's what you tell me I'm supposed to put here, I will. Now that I'm an adult, I always click in other, because I've got so many different races and backgrounds to me, the native, the European, and all that, possibly even some Middle Eastern. It's not been confirmed, but there's even a branch of the family that we've been able to trace it back as far as Dublin, and then we lose it entirely. So we don't know where they came from, if they were originally Irish or not. You know, it's like, and there's Viking in me, and yeah. So it's like, I'm not Caucasian, I'm not black, I'm not native, I don't know what I am. I'm everything. And so kind of my viewpoint on that's the same as my viewpoint with poetry, I guess. Like I said, I don't believe in boundaries, I don't believe in race, period. And I don't believe in cultural appropriation either. Sorry, I don't. And you can probably tell that from some of the clothes that I have worn when I've done readings. Because it's my way of showing respect to the fact that we're all humans. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. And it all had a point. But anyway, yeah, so allow people to have their heritage. If they pronounce it Appalachia because they're of mostly French descent, so what? So what? Anyway, the goal of North-South Appalachia is to bring all those differing ideas and differing cultures, yes, differing cultures that make up the Appalachian culture together into one collective to show off the poetry and art of the entire region in one place. So it's a bit, well, not a bit, it's very ambitious, and we've really enjoyed being a part of it. So, and we will be having our first anthology for North South coming out soon. The deadline for entries to it is September 1st. So, woo! Excited about that. So you can see I've had a lot going on. Sorry about the tangent in the middle, but you can see I've got a lot going on. So I haven't made a mini reading in a while. So this poem by Fatiha Morchid, the thing that I really appreciated about her work was it's very clearly, I mean, it's originally written in Arabic, and of course I'm going to be reading an English translation because I know all of maybe 5 words in Arabic, and I certainly cannot read the script. It's like if it's in Roman numerals, I might be able to figure out what it says, but when it comes to languages that don't use Roman numerals, that's a little bit more than my brain can do. So I'll be reading a translation, and what I like about her work is, of course, it draws from the traditional Arabic symbolism, the use of analogies and all that. It's very much her own, though, because it's very simple. She uses simple words, simple sentence structures, simple rhythms. And it's beautiful, because what ends up happening is because it's very much rooted in the traditions that it comes from, but it's so very simple, it makes it more profound. Okay, and it's also distinctly female. There are some things she talks about that you would never find in Rumi or a male poet that works in Arabic. You know, it's very obviously a female voice in these poems, which to me just makes it even more appealing. Not because I'm like all against their culture and the way they treat women or anything, because everybody's cultures are their cultures, and none of my business, you know. but just because, I don't know, it's just so powerful. But you'll see. This one is called Absence, and like I said, it's on the poetryinternational.org website. Major plug for them. They're awesome. Now, I don't have anybody sponsor my page at all. I don't have it set up to get monetary gain from it, because I want to share other people's poetry and not just my own. So I'm just saying, I just plug, when I do plug something, I plug it because I want to plug it, because I like it. Okay, so you can trust that it's a solid recommendation as far as me really liking it. This is called Absence by Fatiha Morchid. Do not say absence tastes like madness. Close your eyes wherever you are. You will find me, immovable as the sea, wandering about in the ebb and flow, never absent. I love that. How many times have us as women thought that, you know? Because I love you, it doesn't matter how far away you are, whether we ever see each other, how much time passes. I'm never absent from you, and I know you're never absent from me. I'm sure that's something that we've all experienced at some point in our life, and so I think that's what drew me to this poem. But anyway, thank you for putting up with my ranting. Sometimes I do that. But it's something that whole name thing is something that comes up continuously, and it gets on my nerves. I mean, who cares how you say it? We're all the same, you know. It's like, allow people their heritage, and really you have to realize that actually, in all honesty, none of us currently alive are pronouncing it properly. So what does it matter, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you will come back for another poem another time. And feel free to browse back through the channel for other works, because I've been doing this since 2011. Sometimes there have been long breaks between videos, like almost a year or something. Depending on what was going on in my life. Maybe I moved, maybe I got really sick and just had absolutely no energy to even hardly get out of bed. That happens, you know, because I'm disabled. So, but there's over 100 videos on here going back to 2011. So feel free to browse back, and feel free to subscribe for what comes in the future. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you.